Ladies and gentlemen, I want to say something today that might sting a little, but it needs to be said. Comfort is killing you, not all at once, not dramatically. No, it's slower than that. It's quiet. It's subtle. But day by day, moment by moment, it's sucking the life out of you. It's smothering your potential, numbing your ambition, and chaining you to a mediocre version of the life you were meant to live. And the worst part, you don't even see it happening. You tell yourself, I'm okay. You say, it's not so bad. You whisper, maybe this is good enough. But deep down, you know better. You weren't born to be average. You weren't designed to coast through life, checking boxes, paying bills, and dying quietly. You were built for greatness, built for purpose. There's fire in you. There's power in you. But comfort has lulled you to sleep. Look around. Comfort has become the drug of this generation. Soft beds, easy jobs, instant entertainment, food on demand, likes, follows, and dopamine hits. Everything's built to make life easier, and yet people are more miserable than ever. Why? Because comfort doesn't feed your soul. Challenge does. Growth does. Progress does. Think about a muscle. You go to the gym, you lift heavy weights. It hurts. But that pain, that's the price of strength. That's the cost of transformation. Now apply that same principle to your life, to your dreams, to your character, the life you want, the person you want to become, the legacy you want to leave behind. It's on the other side of hard. You won't find it on the couch. You won't find it binge watching shows. You won't find it hitting snooze one more time. You'll find it in the struggle, in the early mornings, in the late nights, in the moments when you feel like giving up, but you don't. And you won't be afraid. Again, take responsibility. You'll find it when you step outside of what's familiar, what's safe, what's comfortable. I get it. Comfort feels good. It's predictable, it's warm, but it's also a cage. And every time you choose comfort over courage, you reinforce those bars. Every time you avoid discomfort, you tell yourself, I'm not strong enough, I'm not ready. And guess what? That lie becomes your truth. Let me ask you something. How many dreams have died because someone was too comfortable to chase them? How many books never written? Businesses never started. Relationships never healed. How many lives stayed small because someone said, I'm fine right where I am? Don't let that be your story. You see, discomfort is not your enemy. It's your compass. It shows you where you need to go. If something scares you, if something stretches you, if something forces you to grow, it's probably exactly what you need. Want to become mentally tough? Embrace hard things. Want to be financially free? Stop doing what's easy with money. Want to have a healthy body? Get comfortable being uncomfortable in your workouts. Want better relationships? Have the difficult conversations. Say what you're afraid to say. Forgive when it's hard. Greatness is inconvenient. It's messy. It demands everything from you, but it gives back so much more. The comfort zone is where dreams go to die. Nothing new happens there. No breakthroughs, no discoveries, no legends, only regret. And I promise you, regret is far more painful than discipline. Regret is the weight you carry when you realize you could have, would have, should have, but didn't. Don't wait until it's too late to find out that comfort was your silent killer. You want to live a life you're proud of? You want to wake up with fire in your belly? Then get uncomfortable. Get up earlier. Push yourself harder. Take risks. Learn something new. Face what you fear. Fail forward, because comfort will never give you the life you crave, but courage will. I'm not telling you to burn yourself out. I'm not telling you to hustle blindly. I'm telling you to stretch, to evolve, to break the mold, to become the kind of person who doesn't settle, the kind of person who sees obstacles and keeps moving, the kind of person who refuses to die with potential still in the tank. You owe it to yourself. You owe it to your family. You owe it to your future. So the next time you're tempted to take the easy road, pause. Ask yourself, is this taking me closer to who I want to be or deeper into who I've always been? And if the answer is deeper into the same, you know what to do. Stand up, take the hard path, say yes to the thing that scares you, do the work, show up even when it's tough, especially when it's tough. Because discomfort is not pain, it's purpose in disguise. If you want the reward, embrace the resistance. If you want change, get out of the chair. If you want freedom, first break the chains of comfort. This is your moment. You don't need permission. You don't need perfect conditions. You need a decision. Decide today that comfort will no longer control your life. Decide to live with intention, with discipline, with fire. You weren't made to sit. You were made to soar. And the sky does not belong to the comfortable. It belongs to the courageous. So rise up, step out. Comfort is a silent killer of potential. It doesn't crash into your life loudly. It creeps in softly, gently, making everything feel easy, relaxed, and manageable. At first, it feels like peace. It feels like security. But over time, that very feeling starts to numb your ambition. It lulls you into routines. It whispers, "You're okay." There's no need to change. And before you even notice it, you're no longer chasing anything. You're just existing. People often misunderstand comfort. They think it's a reward. They believe reaching a point of ease is the goal. But in reality, comfort is not the finish line. It's a trap. It tricks you into thinking you've arrived when all you've done is stopped growing. The moment you start choosing comfort over challenge is the moment you begin to limit your future. Potential doesn't live in the comfort zone. It doesn't show up when you're doing what you've always done, thinking what you've always thought, or feeling the same things every day. Potential lives in tension. It lives in challenge, in risk, in the decision to stretch yourself beyond what's easy. When you avoid discomfort, you avoid the very process that shapes you into who you were meant to be. Comfort doesn't just slow your progress, it rewires your mind. The longer you stay in comfort, the more your tolerance for discomfort shrinks. You begin to fear the unknown. You start to overthink new opportunities. You settle into patterns that feel safe but are actually cages dressed as convenience. You stop believing in the necessity of change. And that's when your potential starts to decay. The scary part is you can live a pretty good life inside that zone. You can earn a decent living, get by socially, and find some moments of happiness. But deep down, you'll always feel the itch, the quiet inner knowing that you're capable of more. That feeling doesn't go away. It nags. It eats at you when things get quiet. It shows up in the middle of the night or in the middle of a dull day. That's not dissatisfaction. It's your potential trying to wake you up. Every person has been gifted with the raw material for greatness, but not everyone will see it come to life. Why? Because comfort becomes more appealing than purpose. People would rather be safe than significant. They'd rather be entertained than empowered. They choose comfort because it feels good in the moment, even though it robs them of everything lasting in the long run. Think about it. How many times have you said no to something because it seemed too hard, too risky, too unfamiliar? Those moments were not just missed opportunities. They were doors to growth, slammed shut by your desire to stay comfortable. That's how potential dies. Not through failure, but through avoidance. Not from falling down, but from never stepping forward at all. You don't need some huge catastrophe to hold you back. All it takes is choosing comfort day after day, and soon the edge you once had becomes dull. The dreams you once had become blurry. You begin to live less and justify more. It's not the right time. Maybe later. I'm not ready yet. And time keeps moving. Life keeps passing. The world keeps spinning while you sit still, comfortable, safe, and stuck. Comfort doesn't care about your dreams. It cares about your feelings. It doesn't ask if you're fulfilled. It only asks if you're comfortable. And the moment you let comfort lead, you stop leading yourself. You surrender your future for a false sense of peace. Discomfort is the birthplace of growth. Every breakthrough, every transformation, every meaningful change begins with a moment of unease. Growth doesn't happen when everything is going smoothly. It happens when you're stretched, when you're challenged, when you're forced to go beyond what you thought you could handle. Discomfort is not a signal to stop. It's a signal that you're on the edge of something important. Most people spend their lives trying to avoid discomfort. They want things to be easy, predictable, and under control. But the truth is, nothing remarkable has ever been built in ease. Whether it's personal development, physical strength, emotional resilience, or professional success, all of it is forged in discomfort. It is the stress of lifting heavy that builds muscle. It is the strain of pushing through failure that builds perseverance. It is the pain of self-confrontation that builds character. Discomfort is the training ground of greatness. It's where you discover what you're made of. It's where you meet the version of yourself that is invisible in your comfort zone. Anyone can smile when things are easy. Anyone can act confident when there's no pressure. But it's when your back is against the wall, when doubt creeps in, when nothing seems to be working, that's when your true strength is revealed. And that strength only surfaces because of discomfort. Think about how growth actually works. A seed doesn't become a tree in a smooth, quiet process. It cracks open. It breaks apart. It pushes through dirt. That's not a comfortable journey, but it's a necessary one. The same is true for you. For anything inside you to come to life, any dream, any talent, any potential, it has to break through resistance. And resistance always feels uncomfortable. Most people misunderstand discomfort. They think it's a warning. They think it means something's wrong. But often, discomfort means something is right. It means you're stepping outside what you've known. It means you're disrupting old patterns. It means you're starting to change. Growth always begins with friction between where you are and where you want to be. Discomfort sharpens your mind. It forces you to focus, to adapt, to learn. It makes you humble because it reminds you that you're not there yet. But it also makes you hungry because it shows you that something better is possible. It pushes you to ask more of yourself, to stop settling, to stop coasting, to start striving. That process is not easy, but it's powerful. Every successful person you admire has a history of discomfort. They've faced rejection, criticism, failure, doubt, fear, and pain, but they didn't run from it. They walked through it. They used it because they understood that discomfort is not the enemy, it's the path. It's the classroom. It's the gym for your mind and spirit. If you want to become more, you must get comfortable being uncomfortable. You must welcome the feeling that says, this is new, this is hard, or this is scary. Because that feeling means you're not standing still. It means you're alive, evolving, and becoming. You don't need to eliminate discomfort. You need to embrace it. You need to rewire your relationship with it. Instead of avoiding it, lean into it. Instead of fearing it, learn from it. Because every level of growth you reach will demand a deeper level of discomfort. The more you expose yourself to discomfort, the more resilient you become. The things that once terrified you lose their power. The challenges that once stopped you become stepping stones. You start to move with confidence, not because things get easier, but because you get stronger. You start to believe in your ability to handle whatever comes. And that belief is the foundation of all growth. Regret is more painful than discipline. Discipline requires effort, consistency, and sacrifice. It asks you to say no to your impulses and yes to your values. It pushes you to get up when you don't feel like it, to work when no one is watching, and to keep going when results are slow. But as demanding as discipline is, it has a reward. It builds pride, strength, achievement, and progress. It creates a future you can be proud of. Regret, on the other hand, leaves you with nothing but the weight of what could have been. It doesn't sharpen you, it haunts you. It doesn't ask for your effort, it takes your peace. The pain of regret is not physical, but emotional and spiritual. It settles in your heart. It replays in your mind. It follows you in the quiet moments and whispers reminders of the chances you didn't take, the goals you didn't pursue, the effort you didn't give. Discipline demands something from you now. Regret steals something from you later. Most people avoid discipline because they think it's too hard. Waking up early is hard. Sticking to a workout is hard. Staying focused is hard. Saying no to temptations is hard. But avoiding these things doesn't make life easier. It just delays the pain. The problem is that the pain of regret doesn't come with a clear warning. It builds over time. It shows up after the moment has passed, after the window of opportunity has closed. And by then, it's too late to fix. Regret has a longer memory than discipline. Discipline is temporary. It's the price you pay once, every day, for a better future. But regret can last a lifetime. It doesn't fade easily because it carries the sting of finality. When you look back and realize that you had the time, the ability, and the opportunity, but you didn't act, you're left with nothing but questions. What if I had tried? What if I had stayed consistent? What if I hadn't quit? Those questions don't disappear. They follow you and they grow heavier with age. Regret has a longer memory than discipline. Discipline is temporary. It's the price you pay once, every day, for a better future. But regret can last a lifetime. It doesn't fade easily because it carries the sting of finality. When you look back and realize that you had the time, the ability, and the opportunity, but you didn't act, you're left with nothing but questions. What if I had tried? What if I had stayed consistent? What if I hadn't quit? Those questions don't disappear. They follow you and they grow heavier with age. People often think avoiding discomfort now will lead to happiness. But real happiness, the kind that lasts, comes from knowing you gave your all. It comes from looking back and knowing you were disciplined enough to build something meaningful. Discipline builds confidence. It makes you trust yourself. Every time you choose discipline, you prove to yourself that you are in control, not your moods, not your fears, not your excuses, and that self-respect is priceless. Regret comes from abandoning that control. It comes from giving in to the easy way, the fast way, the comfortable way. It comes from knowing what you should have done but didn't. It comes from watching others rise while you stood still. It comes from seeing what you could have become if only you had stuck with it. If only you had chosen the hard thing in the moment instead of the easy thing for relief. The truth is, you are always paying a price. There is no such thing as a pain-free life, but you get to choose your pain. The pain of discipline is sharp, but it's clean. It pushes you forward. The pain of regret is dull, but it lingers. It holds you back. You get to decide what kind of pain you're willing to live with. Short-term effort or long-term sorrow, temporary discomfort or permanent what-ifs. Discipline leads to growth, strength, freedom, and pride. Regret leads to stagnation, weakness, bondage, and shame. Discipline puts you in motion. Regret keeps you stuck. The moment you start treating discipline not as punishment, but as a privilege, everything changes. Because while discipline may demand something from you today, it gives you something far greater tomorrow. Regret takes everything and gives nothing back. Your future is shaped by your willingness to do hard things. It's not shaped by your intentions, your wishes, or your dreams. Everyone wants success, fulfillment, growth, but only a few are willing to pay the price that those things demand. That price is effort, consistency, risk, and a daily decision to lean into discomfort. Hard things are the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. The more willing you are to cross that bridge, the more powerful your future becomes. Doing hard things forces you to evolve. It exposes your weaknesses, tests your limits, and confronts your excuses. It reveals who you really are under pressure, not just who you pretend to be when everything is easy. Most people stay stuck not because they don't have talent, but because they avoid the hard things that would bring their talent to life. They don't want to face rejection, failure, or the possibility of falling short. So they settle for the illusion of safety and call it satisfaction. But the future doesn't reward the comfortable. It rewards the courageous. The person who wakes up early to build their dream instead of sleeping in for comfort is shaping a different future. The person who stays disciplined when no one is watching is building a foundation others will never see until it's already strong. The person who pushes through fear and uncertainty isn't lucky, they're prepared. Their willingness to do hard things has made them ready for opportunities when they arrive. Every breakthrough is on the other side of something hard. The difficult conversation you've been avoiding could change your relationships. The project you've been postponing could unlock your career. The habit you've been struggling to build could shift your entire mindset. But none of it happens until you stop waiting for things to be easy and start choosing what's necessary instead of what's convenient. The hard things are not obstacles. They're invitations to level up. It's not that successful people don't feel fear or discomfort. They feel it just like everyone else. The difference is they don't use those feelings as an excuse to stop. They use them as a signal to keep going. They understand that growth isn't comfortable and comfort doesn't lead to growth. Every day, they make the decision to do what most people won't. That's what separates progress from stagnation, winners from wishers, fulfillment from frustration. If you want a strong future, you have to start training for it now. You can't wait until things get easier. You can't wait for motivation to strike. You have to take action while it's hard, while it's unclear, while it's inconvenient. That's the only way to build resilience. That's the only way to gain clarity. The more you step into challenges, the more capable you become. The more capable you become, the more prepared you are for what comes next. Hard things teach you. They refine you. They strip away ego and build humility. They break false confidence and rebuild it with evidence. They teach you that you're stronger than you thought, more adaptable than you imagined, and more capable than you ever gave yourself credit for. And the more you train yourself to lean into those moments, the more momentum you build. It's not about a massive leap. It's about consistently choosing the harder path when it matters. Every time you avoid a hard thing, you reinforce a habit of retreat. Every time you face one, you reinforce a habit of growth. Your choices today echo into your future. They shape your opportunities, your identity, your self-respect. The people who achieve extraordinary futures are not born different. They are simply willing to do what's difficult until it becomes part of who they are. They don't wait for confidence. They build it through action. They don't wait for clarity. They earn it through movement.